the lyrics in this song are so potent. Right at the beginning, it says, "There's nowhere to be than where you are." I don't know that I've lived my life that way, my whole life. I think I lived a big portion of my life, certainly as an actor, where there was always somewhere to be other than where I was, because I was aiming at something. I wanted to be there. And I remember when I got there, I was like, Peggy Lee all of a sudden, is that all there is? You know, because it was like, okay, so this is not what I thought it was going to be. And so I wasn't really in the present moment thinking of there. And when I got there, I wasn't in the present moment because I was thinking of it, I thought it was that. Anybody else? I mean, just throughout life. And so this lyric, there's nowhere to be other than where you are. There's part of me that wishes I had found this philosophy when I was in my early 20s. I certainly wish I had grown up with it, because I would have had a much different life than I had, which is not to say that I don't appreciate my life and that I don't know that everything happened exactly the way it should. But I do have that understanding that, boy, if I knew that there was nowhere to be other than where I was, I'd have probably had a better time of it. Anybody? I'd have been happier. I'd have been more content with the life I had. And even now, there are moments when I still struggle with that concept of there's nowhere to be other than where I am. But it's something to really focus on, don't you think, Liza? You and I have talked about this. Like, this is it. This is it. This moment, this day. I mean, how many times have you looked back on your life and thought, oh my God, or pictures of yourself? How many people go back and look at pictures of yourself and go, oh my God, I was so hot? and then remember, and when I was there, I thought I was so skinny and unattractive. Think about, I mean, right now at least I say, I'm going to know how good I look at 69, because when I'm 94, looking back at these videos, I'm going to be like, really? You had a problem? But I sounded like Barbara. You had a problem with that. So, nowhere to be other than where you are. I'm just going to give you little nuggets today to think about adding to your life, right? And then the next line was, nothing to be than who you are. How many of you throughout your life have gotten stuck with wishing you were someone else, or wishing you had something someone else had, or wishing you looked like someone else? It's funny, because are we hitting a nerve here? Okay. It's funny because someone asked me, they said, it must have been so hard having Tom Cruise as a roommate because he's so gorgeous. And I was like, actually, he was 18 and I was 25. He was a skinny little pimply kid from New Jersey, and I was gorgeous. I didn't have that problem then. Nothing to be other than who you are. Of course, that means you have to know who you are, doesn't it? It means you have to not only know who you are, but you have to be willing to accept who you are. And I mean the good, the great that you are, the greatness that you are. You have to be in touch with that you are all that. Do you know that you're all that, Mindy? Well, someone just said she does. Yeah. But think about it. No, you don't all the time. I don't all the time. You know, as people, how many people here are good with getting compliments? Yes, you are. How many people have a hard time hearing your compliments? Have a hard time taking compliments? How many people don't care one way or the other? Because that's also a problem, apathy. But that's a big thing. You know, are you comfortable when someone says to you, Aaron, you are an amazing bass player and a beautiful person? How's that feel? Like all these people looking at you knowing this. A little uncomfortable. Yeah, it does. It gets uncomfortable. Try that back to me. I will not be uncomfortable in the least. Although if you tell me I'm a good bass player, I'll be like, no, not so much. Right? And then this lyric, be willing to let go of everything you think you need to know. How many know-it-alls are here? Tiffany, I love that you rose your hand. But I don't think you are anymore. I think you live way more in the place of, I know nothing, now what can I know? right? And that's really what they're saying, you know? Be willing to let go of everything you think. And here's the operative word there is be willing to let go of everything you think you need to know. You don't need to know anything other than that last thing. Because once you remember that last thing, you pretty much have everything else covered. You do remember who you are. And then the next line, which I love, and Carol, I loved it because when you got to it, when you got to this next line, you said, be willing to let go of all you need to know. And then when you got to the next one about be strong, your whole body bends. Because that line, it's an amazing lyric. Be strong enough to let go of everything you think you need to control. Who are my control freaks in the room? I think a lot more hands need to go up. I know, Corrine? No, not at all? No, okay. Okay. That's not a judgment at all. Yeah, it's just an opinion. Be strong enough to let go of everything you think you need to control. I am not a control freak.
Oh, yeah.
See, I know how to tell a joke. But you know what? I've gotten much, right, Thor?
100%.
Thank you. I have gotten much better. But can I tell you, you know this, Steve, because you're a control freak.
Just ask Kevin.
No, I'm going to Diane's husband. My husband's taken a lot today. So you know, though, isn't it difficult to be a control person? Like to have to be in control?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It's frustrating because no one ever does it the way you think they should, right? Okay, so no one does it the way you think they should. No one does it as well as you do it, Jim, right? Absolutely, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly. Carolyn, you're like that. Can anybody do anything as well as you can do it?
Hardly anybody.
So there you go. So that's the thing. So be strong enough to let go of everything you think you need to control. I can tell you, running a spiritual center for the last 20 years, I believed that if I did not take control of everything, it wouldn't get done, or Kevin and I, because we've done this together as a team. But if we didn't take control, because you also have some controlling things going on, don't you think? Wouldn't you say?
I have to control you.
The pleasure of controlling me is his gift this year. That's it. So yeah, it's difficult. And so I love this. You got to be strong to let go of the control. You really do. And I have to say, it has been an interesting journey and a long journey, but in these last 2 months, since I've had some interesting physical journeys and continue to, I'm realizing letting go is not as easy as I thought. And letting go of my schedule, letting go of what I think I have to do, letting go of, it's just amazing how much energy it takes to let go, to really let go. You know that next saying, let go, let God? Well, for us, it's let go, let go. Just let go. So for everything goes away. Let everything wash away. Bless you. It's true. Everything that you think you need to control today will be gone anyway tomorrow. It'll be handled. Do you ever stand in something that seems like it's not going to resolve and you're like, well, there's going to come a time when this is done, when I'm not even dealing with this, when this is in the past. Hakuna Matata, in the past, right? To know that in the moment is very helpful. The power of now connects us all to the one. So the title of my talk today is, How About Now? What about now? How about now? What about now? I actually thought it was how about now. Did I write how about now here? Yeah, I did. Forget that. It's the same thing, though. It's like, what about now? Like you know so much of everything that's happened up to, but what about right this moment? What about right this second? So I have some quotes for you. Begin to be now what you'll be hereafter. William James. Begin to be now what you'll be hereafter. How many of us have spent so much of our lives waiting to become something, waiting for something to evolve, waiting for something to be, waiting for the right person to marry, to fall in love with, waiting for the right job to give me what I want, waiting for ... whatever it is. William James was one of the great metaphysicians, and that understanding, begin to be now what you'll be hereafter. I have a number of projects that I'm very excited about, and I have a house guest with me this week who's my oldest friend, who we were talking about these things, and he just looked at me and he went, "So do them." And I thought about it, and I thought, oh my God, I have a number of these projects over here. This is going to happen eventually. Eventually. How many of you use that word? Eventually. Eventually I'll be happy, right? No, you'll just be eventually happy for the rest of your life. I will eventually be successful for the rest of my life. And it was funny how he said it, because I was explaining what these projects were, and I was explaining this play I'm writing, and he went, "Oh my God, you got to finish it. I mean, just do it." And I was like, yeah. What am I waiting for? What am I waiting for? What are we waiting for? What about now? What about now? And then I thought to myself, am I writing every day? Am I involved in this every day? Am I spending my now, my present moment, doing what I say I know I'm going to eventually do? And if not, why? It's funny, Suzanne said about 5 times up here, when I have the time, if I have the time, I do these things. I think time can stop us. I think we can spend so much of our time thinking we don't have the time, and yet we do. Because who's in charge of your time? I mean, Kevin's in charge of mine, but who's in charge of your time? You are. Only you. So, Leo Tolstoy said, there is only one time that is important, now. It is the most important time because it is the only time when we have any power. So I just want to relate this to my writing. When I'm sitting at the computer writing a play or a musical or creating something or writing my book, I am fully present, fully tapped in, and the universe is talking through me, and characters come alive, and the power in that moment is palpable, and hours can go by. Hours, days can go by where I'm just in the zone, in the flow, and it's amazing. That's what he's talking about here. How powerful is it to keep saying, I'm going to do that someday? That's not power. I don't know what that is. It's hopes and dreams, and it's Burt Bacharach, hoping and wishing and praying and thinking and whatever. Those aren't the lyrics, but yeah, yeah. So I get it. I really get it. The only power we're ever going to be able to tap into is a now power. It's in this absolute moment. Eckhart Tolle, yes. The moment your attention turns to the now, you feel a presence, a stillness, a peace. I would like you all to just take a deep breath. Close your eyes for a second. And put your attention on your body. On your body. Start at your toes and work your way up. If you feel any tension or any stress, just breathe right into it. Okay, now open your eyes. So what did you just do? If you did it, you just tapped into that power of now, his book. You just tapped into a moment where you put your focus, your attention, your energetic tool, your mind, onto your body. Did it feel peaceful? Did it feel good? Yeah. Do you do that a lot? I love that. No, I don't. Napoleon Hill, he said, your big opportunity may be right where you are now. Napoleon Hill was a master of prosperity, of understanding the way the mind works. And for me, when I'm constantly thinking about what may be, there's an anxiety attached to that. There's an anxiousness to that. And very often there's a, what am I waiting for attached to that? Or when I look back, it's funny listening to Barbara Streisand's book, and I would say buy the book and read it. It's phenomenal. But if you buy the Audible, listening to her read it is fascinating because you're like sitting at a table with her and she's talking to you about her life. And it's just great to listen to the perspective. But right at the top of her book, she talks about how thoughts have more power. Thoughts create our experience. She's like teaching science of mind at the beginning of the book. And she said, I always believed as a young girl that my mind, my thoughts, would create the life I got to live. Well, yesterday in the car, I said to Kevin, I'm going to ask you some questions, just answer it. Like the most famous person in the world, when I say most talented, the biggest star in the world. And I said, Barbara Streisand or Judy Garland? And he said, Barbara Streisand. I said, okay. Barbara Streisand or Meryl Streep? He said, Barbara Streisand. And I did a couple more. Did I do Taylor Swift?
You might have, yeah.
Did you say Barbara Streisand? Yeah. Well, it's because you're such an age, but most people would say Taylor Swift at this point. But Barbara Streisand, possibly the greatest star in the world for decades, used this teaching. And when she tells you all the stories she tells you about the things she did and the choices she made, it's remarkable she got where she got to because of some of the things she decided to do, and she'd just say no to people. I don't want to do that. Broadway show, I don't want to do that. When she was never in a Broadway show yet. So it's amazing, this idea. Your big opportunity may be right where you are now, because right where you are now, your mind is ready to decide whatever it needs to decide. So what do you got going? What do you all got going here? Huh? What do you got going, Audrey?
Dance.
A dance?
Dance.
To dance. So whatever you got going in your mind, Michael, Diana, it's a question you have to ask yourself. What am I ready to do? To do in this present moment. Not what am I ready to maybe do later, but what am I ready to do right now in this moment? The last quote I have for you this morning is in honor for my husband. It's a quote from the Governor Ann Richards of Texas. She says this: "The here and now is all we have, and if we play it right, it's all we'll ever need." We spend a lot of time thinking about the things we need in life, things we need to be happy. Money's a big one. I'm excited. I hope all of you take CPR in January. It's going to be a whole new version of it. But the idea that the prosperity is not something you need, it's something you have the opportunity to realize about who you are and what money really does represent. So the here and now is all we have, and if we play it right, it's all we'll ever need. So when I picked this theme for this month, I didn't really have a great idea of why. It just came to me, and I was like, well, I don't want to do a Christmas theme. I want to do this idea of being right where I am, where the power of right where I am. Get rid of all of this. I respect it and love it, but it's not who I am now. And get rid of all of this. I have great dreams and desires. I know you all do. But that's not here. This is here, right now. So it's all about choice. Are you willing to make a choice? So I have a question for you this morning. What will it take for all of us to live in the here and the now? What will it take you, and just ask yourself this, what will it take you to live in the here and now? And the question that this was based on today, what about now, or how about now? It's a charge to myself. What about now, in this moment? How about now? How about if I do it now? What's our thing? Do it now. Do it now, not later, not in the past as if we could. So I have a tip for you. First, I want to ask you, are you willing to live in the here and now no matter what? Are you willing to spend the rest of this month staying fully present, really living in the now? And if you find yourself drifting, I do have a tip for you. And it's your breath. All you have to do is take a deep breath, hold it for a second, in your mind say, I am here, and let it go. So everybody, let's all try that. Everybody take a deep breath, hold it for a second. I am here, and let it go. That simple little move will ground you right where you are, wherever you are, no matter what is going on. It's so simple. It's just, I am here. And then entertain whatever is going on. This holiday season, it is so easy to step away from being present because we're so busy buying presents and doing things. So I offer to you this holiday season, let's make it one where you are completely present throughout all of it. The hubbub, the craziness, even if you're rushing, you can rush. You can be present in your rushing. Anybody? You can be present. Even if you have to move things along, be present in it. Notice when you're letting yourself lag behind because you're so busy. I'm going to suggest that each one of us take the rest of this month staying fully present, fully awake, fully aware. Use that little mechanism of taking the breath, holding your breath, saying, I am here. And you know what's going to happen? I'm going to tell you. You are going to be happier. You are going to be healthier. You are going to accomplish more. You're going to realize more. And the power of this universe will be there for you to unlock and unleash every time you fully come to that present moment. So whatever it is you want to do, whatever it is you want to accomplish, whatever it is you want to make manifest in your life, your thought, your mind, your willingness to stay fully present will bring you to a place that you get to experience this year in the most fabulous way you ever has. Because if that's what you decide to do this year, and that means you make the intention, I am living the most fabulous holiday season I have ever lived, and I'm going to be wide awake, present for it. I am going to make sure that I stay fully present in the moment and enjoy it all. Who would like that? Yes. That's what we have before us. Namaste.